Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling a really critical and frankly urgent situation. That's the delivery of humanitarian aid, or the lack of it, getting into Gaza. We've got quite a bit to unpack, mostly looking through the lens of a really powerful editorial from The Guardian. Our mission today is basically to cut through some of the noise and understand the core issues. What are the legal obligations? What's happening on the ground?
Exactly. It's a point where, international law and the sheer humanitarian reality are just colliding really head on. And that Guardian editorial gives us a strong focus point, especially on that key question. Is Israel, as the occupying power, legally required to make sure aid gets to civilians?
Right. And this isn't just theoretical stuff, is it? The UN has actually gone to the International Court of Justice, the ICJ. They've asked the court to step in and determine if Israel must allow this aid through. And the timing is, well, it's pretty stark. This happened just, 2 months after reports that aid got cut off again, right before that ceasefire deal unfortunately collapsed.
Yeah, the timing is significant.
So just to be clear for everyone listening, we're diving into the complexities of this aid situation, looking at the legal side, but also, crucially, what this actually means for the people living through it in Gaza.
And the ICJ getting involved, that's a big step. It shows really deep international concern. Though Gideon Saar, Israel's foreign minister, had a very strong reaction. He called the whole thing shameful.
Shameful. What was his argument there?
His basic point seems to be that Israel is being unfairly singled out, that the international focus is disproportionately on them.
Okay, I see. Asking why Israel specifically. But this isn't the only legal avenue being explored, right? There's also the ICC, the International Criminal Court.
That's right. Separate court and separate case. The ICC deals with individual criminal responsibility, not state disputes like the ICJ. And their focus is on specific individuals, Benjamin Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant, regarding the alleged starvation of civilians as a potential war crime.
Starvation as a weapon of war.
Yeah, and the editorial notes something interesting here. While withholding food, sadly, isn't new in warfare, it's actually quite rare for it to be the main charge in these big international cases.
Why is that? Is it hard to prove?
Exactly. Proving the intent to starve civilians, that specific goal, has always been the major hurdle legally.
Makes sense. Proving what someone intended is always tough. But the editorial brings up a point from Dr. Boyd Van Dyke, an expert on the Geneva Conventions.
Right. He suggests that maybe the rhetoric we've heard recently from some Israeli officials, it might actually be changing the game on proving that intent.
How so? What kind of rhetoric are we talking about?
Well, some of the statements have been surprisingly explicit. You had Bezalel Smotrich, the finance minister, reportedly saying last summer that maybe starving people to get hostages back could be justified and moral.
Wow. Even if he acknowledged the world wouldn't approve, that's quite a statement.
It is. And then, more recently, just last month, Defense Minister Israel Katz apparently said, quite bluntly, policy is clear. No humanitarian aid will enter Gaza.
No aid. Full stop.
And then Itamar Ben-Gvir, National Security Minister, chimed in, insisting there was no reason for a single gram of food or any aid to enter until hostages are freed.
So these aren't just like slips of the tongue. They sound like deliberate policy statements from senior figures.
That's how they appear, yes. A consistent line. And then you add the incident with the drone attack that disabled an aid ship heading for Gaza just last Friday.
Right. Regardless of the specific intent behind that attack, the outcome is the same. Less aid getting through.
Precisely. It obstructs aid delivery.
These statements, alongside the actions, it paints a deeply concerning picture. And the editorial really drives home the human cost. The numbers are just staggering. Gaza's health authorities report over 52,000 deaths since the war started.
Mostly civilians.
Mostly civilians, yes, including 15,000 children. 15,000. And hundreds more deaths just since the renewed Israeli offensive in March. The editorial puts it starkly, withholding food kills just as bombs do.
It's a brutal reality, and it goes beyond the death toll. Think about the farmland, so much of it destroyed. Local food production is crippled.
And the basics. Like flour.
Flour prices, according to the report, are up 30 times. 30. Compared to before the war.
30 times? How could anyone afford that?
They can't. It makes it basically impossible for ordinary people.
Oh.
And the support systems that were there are crumbling. The UN World Food Program had to close its bakeries a month ago. No supplies.
And then the community kitchens that tried to fill the gap.
They're now closing too for the same reason, lack of essential supplies.
It's a domino effect.
It is. And the impact on health is becoming stark. UNICEF is reporting thousands of children already suffering from acute malnutrition.
Thousands.
And there was one detail in the editorial from a study. It's just heartbreaking. Almost half the children questioned in Gaza said they wish they were dead.
Oh, that's almost too much to comprehend.